This is Doom 3. We're on Xbox Series X taking a look at this upgraded title that provides a native 4K resolution at 60 FPS with auto HDR support. In the past, I looked at all the Doom titles in like one bundled video, but I thought, hey, Doom 3 is kind of a big special game. Let's split this up and let's give it its own showcase here. And today I'm joined by
Mitchell, also known as the Pink Illusion.
and we're going to be talking about Doom because Mitchell is a big Doom fan to the point he knows infinitely more than I do about the game. So I thought it would be great to have him come in and kind of chat about, one of his favorites. And generally, Mitchell, give us an opening. Where does the game start? What's the setting? What's the theme? What is Doom 3?
A lot of people's opinions now, it's kind of the forgotten child of the Doom games. The reason I say that is it's stepped away from the original Dooms, which were much faster paced, not so much focused on horror and jump scares. This is more of a scary type game. It's a little bit harder in my opinion. It's much slower paced. You're not trying to run around and jump around, especially if you're a big fan of like the new Dooms, the 2016 and Doom Eternal that came out, which are phenomenal games. This game is definitely very different. It's more of that FPS, classic FPS shooter than anything. Altogether, though, it's still got the same plot. On Mars, demons invade. You have many weapons. Chainsaws are available for some reason. Don't ask. Classic. It is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best games of all time, though. Honestly.
Well, it's definitely what I would think as being... I guess you can't say it's really a modern classic anymore because it's actually quite a bit old at this point.
I believe it is 2004 is when it originally came out. Yes, August 3rd, 2004 is its original release date.
It's like a classic arcade game at this point now. That's crazy to think about. So this release is kind of everything put together. It's got all the content. It's slightly improved. And with that, it's got two kind of parts to it. Could you tell us a bit about what exactly is here, because we've got Doom 3 and then we also have the extra like DLC content that's included in.
Yeah, so the original Doom 3 came out, and Doom 3 itself is quite a long game. Took me, I'm a slow gamer, but it took me about 13 hours to beat. While saying that, after I'm not sure the development time on it afterwards, but following it, you had Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil, which was honestly, one could argue, a complete new game set after the events of Doom 3, playing a different character. Really well done, and got to add in some new enemies, new monsters. It was a very good DLC. And then with the BFG edition that released a few years back, they released the Lost Missions, which were basically just a much shorter mission-based campaign that honestly it probably takes you a couple hours most to beat, but still very good. Add some good stuff in. Base game though, where you get everything, all the meat and potatoes of it, and that's what the original game was.
Thank you for going over that. So we just kind of give context to what the full package is here. So it's a bit of a horror game. I guess before we jump into the real meat of this, kind of just talk about the opening of the game, because to me that's kind of a fun part, just the calmness of it, and then how it sort of kind of becomes a quick burning situation.
I have distinct memories as a child of playing that opening of the game and just replaying that part over and over because I was too scared to go past that part. The opening of the game it's kind of cool. You're kind of just getting a nice little story set up. You're walking around. You're taking it easy, honestly. Get a general overview of what's going on, get introduced to some of the main characters. Malcolm Betruger, who is the main antagonist of the game, Sarge, major character in the first half of the game, and then two minor characters that you continuously see throughout the game. That opening area is it's very calm, it's very just introduction, and it was nice because you kind of get used to things as you go along, and it really sets the tone because stuff is still dark and there's still lights flickering everywhere.
Just such a creepy thing, and then it just absolute mayhem happens at a certain point, which is so fun. Tell us a bit about the atmosphere and the types of environments that you will be venturing through on this journey.
Get used to using a flashlight often. That's pretty much the main thing. Everywhere you go seems to be dark. when the game originally came out, and I'm going to be an OG player here talking about this. When the game originally came out, you actually had to switch between your guns and a flashlight. You couldn't have them both out at the same time. This current version of the game, you can have both of them out at the same time, which makes fighting much easier. The main areas, like again, you're on Mars. There's a couple areas that you are on the surface and have to take oxygen management into account, but for the most part, you're going through the different complexes. The biggest complexes are usually that come to mind are Delta Complex, which is the main portal area where all the demons are coming from. The Alpha Complex, which is a major experimental area. You've got the underground and the monorails, which has some of the hardest enemies in the whole game. And then, of course, you have Hell, which, I mean, you can't have Doom without Hell.
Oh, of course. Okay, so we talked about the environment a bit and the atmosphere. Who are we fighting? What are we cutting through? What are we shooting people with?
Thing on YouTube that you got to watch out with some of your swearing, but I'm going to say this one for you.
Mitchell. They changed the policies a week back. You can say a swear word.
Fantastic. the two main guns that return for Doom, besides the shotgun, which all Dooms have the beautiful shotgun, the two main guns that are returning, you have the chainsaw, which is a classic Doom weapon, and the BFG 9000, also known as the Big Fucking Gun 9000. That, or other people call it the Big Friendly Giant 9000, but those people suck. You've got a really nice arsenal of weapons, and that's one of the things I really like about Doom is I think that there is a total of I want to say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 weapons that you can use in the game. And you have access to them all at once. It's not like you're carrying two guns at a time. Like you have all of these guns stored in your many unbelievably large pockets. And you're using them to fight the various demons that you find, and there are a lot of different demon styles. I think that there's over 20 different models that you can fight, ranging from very simple zombies to the beautiful and amazing Hell Knight, which is returning from the original Doom.
Okay, so I mean, you talked about a couple things, but I thought you were a pretty big fan of the Pinky.
I am a big fan of the Pinky Demon. That is one of the coolest demons of all time. And I mean, it probably sits in my name a little bit, even if my name's more of a Red vs. Blue reference. But the Pinky Demon's pretty cool. If you haven't played this game, honestly, the Pinky Demon's introduction in it, like its first cutscene introduction in this game, is terrifying. It is probably one of my favorite points in the whole game.
Okay, so with that, there's some adventuring, some exploring. Tell us about the secrets and the collectibles.
Again, big thing with Doom games is getting your secrets and collectibles, and it's not as prevalent as the original Dooms or the new 2016 or Eternal Dooms, but secrets and collectibles are still pretty common. One of the main things that you want to use to your advantage is your PDA, which is your personal data assistant, and it's also setting a story of being able to read kind of what the people working on the base were going through before the demons attacked, and you can kind of see just background story on it, and you start to get a bigger picture of everything going on. Very often in these emails you have clues pointing you towards locations or codes for lockers that will give you stronger weapons earlier. Been unknown, but you can have like a chainsaw within the first 5 levels. If you don't get it on the secret part in the first 5 levels, you won't actually get it until just before you go to Hell. Like stuff like that is just kind of little secrets that you pick up. But while saying that, it's not like the classic Doom and the new Doom where you actually have a tracker in the game that's actually saying, oh, you found 70% of the collectibles. Oh, you found 40% of the collectibles. No, you're going in and you're finding what you find, and if you don't find it, then you don't actually know.
Which is kind of a classic thing in games that we take for granted now, because there could always be more secrets out there, and we just didn't really know about it. And nowadays, they kind of hold your hand a little bit more, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially how the achievements are tied in. So anyways, we talked about a lot about the game. Tell me, what's just a special spot of the game that we haven't talked about, a favorite area, a favorite moment or something from Doom 3.
besides the introduction of the Pinky Demon, which is actually still one of my favorite parts of the game, anytime a new demon is introduced, I loved watching the cutscenes. I love seeing them, from the imp jumping out of the flames to the Hell Knights that are coming through the portal, and not one but two at once. So you're basically fighting two of the hardest enemies in the game at the same time. To any boss fight, especially Wraith boss fight, I believe. It might. It might be the Wraith. Oh no, sorry, the Sabbath boss fight. That's the one I'm thinking of. It's that is a major part of the game where you can kind of see that not everything is what it seems, and when you win that boss fight, you get the BFG 9000 at the end of it, and that's my favorite gun.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse, that one, that's for sure.
Oh, it is so strong.
So this is a bit of a horror game. Tell us, what's a bit of a scary moment?
There's a part in the game, so you go into the underground waste management areas of the game, and you're just kind of traveling through, and throughout that area you keep hearing a mixture of babies crying and the fluttering of insect wings. And then as you come, I remember this distinctly, and I remember it just as much as the very first time I watched it. You walk down this long hallway, and there's a little set of stairs on your left, and the set of stairs go and follow another long hallway down, and at the end of that hallway, there's about 10 cherubs. And cherubs are basically the demonic version of what you imagine Cupid to look like. Baby with insect wings coming at you with giant claws and black eyes. They're the demon in the game that scares me the most. That part always sits with me, and I always sit there just going, "Ooh," that's because you never see them coming, but you can hear them.
It's always the worst part of horror in games, is the silent build-up if they do it right.
Yeah, and there's not as much music in the game. Like, there is music at times, but music is not as big of a part of this game. It's more of an atmospheric thing. So it's sometimes it's just so quiet, and you're sitting there going, "What's going on? What's happening?"
Okay, so I was going to go towards a wrap-up point, but something is coming to my mind, that there's, I believe, an Easter egg in a bathroom or something like that.
In a bathroom, the only one I know of in the bathroom is you walking into a bathroom and you suddenly see a portal to hell open up in front of you, and then it closes immediately. But that's like, it's off the side.
I was also thinking of the arcade machine. Isn't there?
Oh, there is an arcade machine that is just, I know what you mean. That is just outside of the bathroom around a corner. There is the Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3. Now, this game is pointless. You punch a turkey, and it explodes, and you get points. I think that somebody tracks high scores on it. I've never gotten above, like, 5,000. The nice little cool thing about it, though, is that the graphics and the character models in the game are actually the original Doom, which is kind of cool.
That's a nice little throwback piece. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's begin wrapping this up here. For final thoughts, just tell us what you think of Doom 3 overall, and just kind of a wrap-up chat.
For being the kind of outlier game of the Doom series, it is amazing to play. I fully recommend it if you've never played it before. It is 100% worth it, especially being on Game Pass now, I believe. I believe It's on Game Pass now.
Forever.
And for forever, exactly. If you have time aside, go for it. It has a lot of quality to it. It is a little bit long at times, and I will say at times it does feel like it drags on, but when it picks up, it always picks up hard.
Okay, thanks for joining in and chatting.
For sure, thanks.
Command HQ, this is Fire Team 2. Main power systems down in some level. Backup and life support systems only. We've got lots of civilian casualties. It's a mess. Command HQ, attempting to secure the area.
Warning. Filtration line in motion.
This is Command
Bridge
HQ.
extension.
Report directly. Sergeant Kelly. We don't know what we're up against. Repeat, we have negative ID on the assailing. They're mean SOBs. We don't have a clear path out of HQ. Stock up on ammo, establish a stronghold, keep them at bay.
Command HQ, this is Bravo team. We've got one man down and several wounded. We are incoming and need medical on station stat.
Command HQ, this is Fire Team 2. The monorail track is destroyed. Unable to secure safe transportation back to base. Over.
Roger that, Fire Team 2. Fall back to the nearest station and set up a CP there. Out. All units, this is Sergeant Kelly. Fall back to Marine HQ and await further orders. All remaining Marine units, this is Sergeant Kelly. I am unable to reach Mars City from my current position. Move to Marine HQ to regroup and await further orders.
Up here, quickly. I thought I was the only one still alive. I can't believe I found you. Something happened. I don't know what. It was like a shockwave. It passed through the entire base. People started changing. It was crazy. I was working up here on the vent shafts. I don't know how I survived. Go. Be careful. I don't know what's in there.